Welcome back, everybody, to another Deep Dive by Handy Washroom Direct. And we're going to be diving into something you might not expect. We're going to be looking at the placement of changing tables in daycare centers.
Interesting.
We've got some awesome source material. And, it really turns out that this is about way more than just changing diapers.
Yeah.
We're really talking about safety, efficiency, and even projecting that extra level of care to parents when they come in and see how well-designed everything is.
I think that's a fantastic point, and we often overlook those small touches.
Right.
The kind of details that can really elevate the whole feel of a daycare.
So let's jump right in. One of the things that really kind of surprised me from this research was that there's a real emphasis on the ergonomics for the staff. I mean, obviously we want to be thinking about, keeping the kids safe.
Yeah, of course.
But, protecting staff from back strain and injuries and things like that.
Yeah.
That's some smart thinking.
Absolutely, and it's so easy to kind of overlook staff well-being when we think about the design of a daycare.
Yeah.
But, healthy caregivers are just naturally better equipped to provide that high-quality care that we all want to see.
Absolutely.
And then when you start thinking about long-term, reduce staff turnover, potentially even lower insurance premiums because you have fewer workplace injuries.
Yeah.
It's like investing in those ergonomically designed changing tables and placing them properly actually has like this ripple effect throughout the whole daycare.
It's like they say, happy staff, happy kids.
Exactly.
Happy parents.
That's the goal. Yeah.
The source also highlighted how these dedicated changing tables actually project a more professional image to the parents. I guess that makes sense. It shows you're taking hygiene and safety seriously.
Yeah, and parents want to know that their kids are in good hands.
Right.
And a well-maintained changing area really signals to them that you are prioritizing their child's well-being. It's a small thing, but it's a really powerful way to build trust.
Yeah. It's like that extra layer of care.
Exactly.
So we've touched on, staff and parent perceptions. But what about the kid themselves? Where these tables are placed must have a big impact on their experience too.
Of course. And that's where the idea of universal design comes in. It's about creating a space that works for everyone, no matter their age or their ability.
Yeah.
So let's take the infant room as an example. The source suggests placing the changing table close to the cribs, which seems obvious for nighttime changes, but there's actually more to it than that.
All right. It was all about visibility, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Like keeping the changing table in a spot where the staff can see the whole room. And that allows them to keep an eye on all the babies, not just the one that's being changed.
Right. You're maximizing safety and supervision without sacrificing efficiency.
Okay.
And I think for parents, too, that provides a lot of peace of mind.
Right.
Knowing that their child is always going to be within sight of a caregiver.
Absolutely. That's that extra layer of reassurance that I think a lot of parents are looking for.
Yeah.
But what about when those little ones start moving around? What are the recommendations for placement when you're talking about a toddler room?
Well, now it gets interesting. The source actually recommends a more central location for the changing table in the toddler room.
Okay.
This might seem a little counterintuitive.
Yeah, I would thought you'd want it kind of off to the side.
Right. But remember, toddlers are all about exploration and movement.
Yeah.
So if you have a centrally located changing table, it allows the staff to just quickly and easily do those diaper changes without interrupting the flow of play.
It makes sense. You don't want them having to run across the room, dodging toys and all kinds of things.
Exactly. It's about minimizing those transitions and maximizing that playtime.
Right.
And of course, we don't want to forget about practicalities, easy access to storage for diapers, wipes, all those essentials. But of course, you got to keep that out of reach of curious little hands. So there's that balance.
Speaking of unexpected locations, I was surprised to see that the source actually mentions hallways. Why would you need a changing table in a hallway?
Well, it's all about being prepared for the just-in-case scenario.
Yeah.
What if a child has an accident on the way to the bathroom, or a parent needs to do a quick change before heading out?
Oh.
Having a compact changing table tucked away in a hallway, it can be a real lifesaver in those moments.
It's kind of like having a fire extinguisher. You hope you never need it, but you're sure glad it's there when you do.
Exactly.
So we've talked about infant rooms, toddler rooms, even hallways. Are there any other strategic locations that we should be considering?
Oh, absolutely. And this one I think is often overlooked.
Okay.
The entrance or the reception area.
Interesting.
Having a changing table maybe discreetly tucked away near the entrance can be a huge convenience for parents.
Yeah.
If they need to change their child like right when they arrive or right before they leave.
That is a really good point.
Yeah.
And I guess it avoids those, kind of awkward moments of parents juggling diaper bags and, trying to find a spot to change the child.
Exactly. It's about creating that really welcoming and accommodating environment for the families,
Right.
right from the moment they step in the door.
It speaks volumes about your attention to detail.
It does.
The fact that you've thought about these things.
And let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about the design features of the changing tables themselves. The source material actually goes into some really fascinating details
Oh, I'm all ears.
that I think you'll find interesting.
I never thought there'd be so much to consider when it comes to changing tables.
Well, that's the beauty of the deep dive, isn't it?
That's right.
We uncover those hidden layers of complexity.
Go deep.
So one of the things the source emphasizes is those safety features. And we're not just talking about the basics, like, the secure straps and the raised edges. They go further, and they talk about materials and the construction.
Oh, so like non-toxic finishes and rounded edges to
Mhm.
prevent those little bumps and scrapes.
Exactly. But it goes even beyond that. They talk about choosing durable materials that can withstand frequent cleaning and disinfecting
Oh, yeah?
without breaking down.
Right. You want something that's easy to keep clean, hygienic, especially in a daycare setting.
Absolutely. And this is where it gets really fascinating.
Okay.
The source highlights how the design of that changing table can actually influence a child's sensory experience
Wow. I never even thought about that.
during diaper changes.
Interesting. Tell me more.
Well, think about it. Diaper changes can be stressful for some children.
Yeah.
They might feel uncomfortable, exposed, anxious.
Yeah.
But if you're choosing a changing table with, those soft padded surfaces and the rounded edges, you can actually create a much more calming and soothing experience.
It's like creating a little haven of comfort
Exactly.
in the middle of what can sometimes be a messy situation.
Right. And don't forget about the visual aspect. The source even suggests using calming colors and patterns in the changing area
Okay.
to just make it more peaceful and inviting.
Yeah. So it's like you're saying all these elements come together
They do.
to create this much more positive and nurturing environment for everybody involved.
And that's the key takeaway here. Strategic placement.
Right.
Thoughtful design choices can really have a big impact on the whole experience in a daycare.
Okay.
It's about safety, efficiency, hygiene, and maybe most importantly, that emotional support for both the children and the caregivers.
This has been really insightful, I have to say. I'm starting to look at changing tables in a whole new light now.
I love to hear that. That's what we aim for.
Yeah.
Uncover that hidden potential in these everyday objects
Absolutely.
and inspire you to think differently about the spaces you create.
So for our listeners out there who are ready to take action, maybe invest in some high-quality changing tables that prioritize these things that we've been talking about. Safety ergonomics,
Yeah.
a positive sensory experience. Where should they go?
Well, look no further than our sponsor for this deep dive, Handy Washroom Direct.
Of course.
They offer a fantastic range of thoughtfully designed changing tables
Yeah, I've heard good things.
that are just perfect for daycare settings.
Awesome. Our listeners can visit handywashroom.com
There you go.
to explore their selection and find the perfect changing table to meet their needs.
And, investing in the right changing table is an investment in the well-being of your staff, the comfort of the children in your care, and really just the overall success of your daycare.
This deep dive has definitely changed the way I think about daycare design.
I'm so glad.
It's amazing how something like a changing table can have such a profound impact when you approach it strategically.
It really is. Yeah. And remember, if you're looking for those high-quality changing tables that embody these principles, be sure to check out Handy Washroom Direct at handywashroom.com.
They have a great selection to help you create a daycare that works better for everyone. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating deep dive.